so we're wrapping up our 1920s and Gatsby unit. And one of the major assessments here is going to be your first full-length academic paper for Humanities 2. And I want to give you just an overview of what that paper is going to look like and what you're going to be assessed on. So we've been talking a lot about symbolism and theme. And I want to start by saying those are reading literature standards that we're going to assess through a different assessment. So don't worry too much about those right now, although they will be part of the content for your essay. But instead, I want you to check out these 5 standards here. These are the 5 writing standards that you're going to be instructed and assessed on in this next couple of weeks. So the first is thesis, your ability to establish a clear and thorough thesis to present your argument. Then your introduction, we're going to teach you how to write a strong introduction, including introducing claims. Your evidence here is going to be all about using details from the text and quotes to support your thesis. Organization is going to be about the structure of your paragraphs and your topic sentences, and your conclusion here is going to be the last paragraph or so of your essay. We'll do some instruction on that. So here are the 5 standards. All of them will have some probably pre-recorded lessons, some examples, and then you'll have time to work on them and get feedback before the paper's due. A couple of other details down here in the guidelines section. And I'll put a link to this assignment sheet of the daily agenda. So if you want to pause right now and open it up on your own screen, you could do that. Anyway, your paper needs to be in MLA format. I won't spend a lot of time talking about this. Instead, I'm mostly just going to put this link here to an MLA sample paper. This is on the Purdue Online Writing Lab. And what's really nice here is that they have all the sections of an MLA paper sort of laid out and labeled. So you'll just want to model yours after exactly this format here. So I'll leave that. You can look at that later on your own. As far as length, I'm looking for the paper to be at minimum 3 body paragraphs, an intro and a conclusion. So 5 total paragraphs and about 2 full pages. This is the minimum, okay? So if writing is not your thing, this is what you should be shooting for. For those of you who have found the text pretty manageable, who like to read and write, who are looking for a bit of a push, maybe especially if you have, a difficult 4-year, university degree in mind, I'd love to see you stretch a little bit, maybe shoot for 4 or 5 body paragraphs along with your intro and conclusion, and for maybe a 3 or 4 page paper. Your paper should you should expect to revise it at least a couple of times here. So remember that the writing process is recursive, right? We don't go from A to B in a neat straight line. Instead, we're always going forward, revising, going back, taking feedback, reworking our argument in our sections before we arrive at point B. Keep that in mind. That's how mastery works. That's how we learn. That's how we improve. That's what the writing process should look like. You'll have 3 options for your prompts. They're right here on the screen. I'm just going to sort of read them aloud. So the first one is analyzing money in the text. Analyze the portrayal of wealth in the novel, the difference between old money and new money, as well as the things that money can and cannot buy. What is Fitzgerald ultimately trying to say about money and materialism? What does Gatsby's rise and fall say about the pursuit of wealth and status in the world of the novel? So this one's going to be really useful if you've been keeping track of symbolism and motif that has to do with money and wealth and that sort of thematic topic in your journal entries. Really, for all 3 prompts, your journal entries are going to be your best tool for finding evidence you've been collecting and for sorting out those patterns and those themes. The second option is to discuss time in the text. Analyze what Fitzgerald is saying about our relationship with the past, the passage of time and change. How was time commented on, symbolized, and discussed in the novel? How do characters deal with or not deal with their pasts? And what are we to learn as readers? So far, the 2 big thematic topics you've got to choose from here are money and time. You'll have to decide what the text is saying about those topics and how it's saying it. Again, your best tool here is going to be your journal entries. Third, a symbol in a novel is a concrete object that represents an idea or a set of ideas. A motif works similarly, but need not be concrete. Identify at least one major symbol or motif in the book, analyze multiple examples of that device in the text, and explain how they function together to support central themes. Obviously, in order to respond to this prompt, you will need to identify at least one major theme clearly. Really, all the prompts require you to identify a theme, but this one especially is baked right in there to the question, so it's going to be particularly important. So what I'd like you to do here is consider all 3 prompts, open your journal entries, look back through, see which of these ideas you're already paying the most attention to, which motifs and symbols you've already picked up on the most, and that would lead to the best paper for you. You should go where the evidence already is. So like if you haven't put anything in your journal entries about time, this probably isn't going to be the prompt for you, right? Follow the path of least resistance here. All right.